You're now listening to the Built to Last podcast, a show for human performance professionals from a biblical worldview. This is performance coaching with eternal purpose.
Welcome back again to another episode of the Built to Last podcast. I'm your host, Justin Bentavania, and once again, I'm joined with Coach Jerry Palmieri, who is sharing some life lessons that he's learned over the course of his career in strength and conditioning. Coach, take it away.
After 8 seasons in Jacksonville, our staff was fired. I spent 1 season as an assistant with the New Orleans Saints, and then in 2004, I reconnected with Coach Coughlin, becoming his strength and conditioning coach for the New York Giants. That's where I spent the last 12 years of my career. And during that time, we had the privilege to win 2 Super Bowl championships, Super Bowl 42 and Super Bowl 46. I want to share a little bit with you about our second championship, Super Bowl 46, and the importance of being all in. Back in 2011, the New York Giants had an up and down season, and we found ourselves with a record of 7-7 with 2 games remaining. Our only chance of making it to the playoffs was to win the NFC East divisional title, which meant we had to win our last 2 games. We had to beat the Jets and then play the Cowboys for the divisional championship. In our chapel, the night before we played the Jets, we had a guest speaker by the name of John Paul Gonzalez. John Paul challenged us to be all in as we live life. He used the illustration of a poker player. When this poker player believed he had a really good hand, he would put all his chips into the middle of the table and say, all in. He believed so much in the cards that he had in his hand, he was willing to risk it all, again, by saying, all in. He then challenged us to be all in for Jesus in our spiritual life. To not be a fence straddler with 1 foot in the world and 1 foot in the kingdom of God. He challenged us to be totally, 100% committed to the Lord. To not waver between God and the opinions of the world. To be sold out for Jesus. He further challenged us to be all in professionally as we finished out this season. To be totally committed to doing everything we can to finish the season well. Let nothing distract us. On every play, be all in, completing our assignment, to have a single-mindedness of purpose as we compete and prepare for the remainder of the season. The next day, we're playing the Jets in a tight game. It's late in the first half. Jets are leading 7-3 and have us backed up to our own 1-yard line. It's 3rd and 10. Eli Manning drops back and throws a short pass to Victor Cruz, who breaks 2 tackles and sprints 99 yards for a touchdown, not only to give us the lead, but also the momentum to go on and win the game 29-14. The team believed that because we were all in, totally committed to performing our best, was the reason we won that game. That all-in theme carried us through the next week as we prepared to play the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East divisional title. Everyone was focused. Lift sessions were great. Practices were energized. The team was all in to defeat the Dallas Cowboys. On top of that, the NFL scheduled the game for primetime Sunday night football. As we took the field, you could feel the energy of the fans as they waved their white all-in towels. Yes, even the fans were all in as they cheered us on to victory. We went on to defeat the Cowboys to win the NFC East division and qualify for the playoffs with a record of 9-7. The all-in theme became our motto as we marched through the playoffs. We beat the Falcons at home, traveled out to Green Bay to beat the Packers, and then we had to go across the country to play the San Francisco 49ers for the National Football Conference Championship. This game was a hard-fought battle of 2 tenacious defenses. The lead went back and forth several times before ending regulation with the score tied at 17. Overtime wasn't much different, as both offenses struggled to move the ball. Midway through the overtime period, facing 4th and 13, our punter, Steve Weatherford, gets off a high punt, giving our coverage team time to get downfield. Jaquan Williams strips the ball from the returner, knocking the ball loose, allowing Devin Thomas to recover the fumble, giving us the ball on San Francisco's 24-yard line. After advancing the ball to San Francisco's 10-yard line, we took a knee to put the ball in the center of the field. Lawrence Tynes goes out and kicks the game-winning 31-yard field goal, sending us to the Super Bowl to play the New England Patriots. We had a great 2 weeks of preparation, leading to another thriller with the New England Patriots. 4 years earlier, we beat the Patriots 17-14 when Plaxico Burress caught a touchdown pass from Eli Manning with just 39 seconds remaining to win Super Bowl 42. Super Bowl 46 wasn't much different. With us leading 9-0 after the first quarter, New England goes on to score 17 unanswered points. We kick a couple field goals in the third quarter, cut New England's lead to 17-15. With a little less than 4 minutes remaining in the game, New England punts the ball down to our 12-yard line. On 1st and 10, Eli throws a beautiful deep ball down the New England sideline, and Mario Manningham makes a phenomenal catch for a 38-yard gain, giving us the ball at midfield. We methodically moved the ball down the field when Ahmad Bradshaw scored on a 6-yard run with just over 1 minute remaining in the game. A minute is a long time to give Tom Brady a chance to score, but our defense held on to knock down a long pass into the end zone to end the game, making us Super Bowl 46 champions. I once heard a story about a chicken and a pig who were walking down the street. They come up to a diner, and the pig says to the chicken, "Hey, chickie, you want to grab a bite to eat?" The chicken says, "Sure." So they climb up the stairs, open the door, and take a seat at the counter. The waitress comes over and says, "Hey, boys, what do you have?" Well, the chicken spoke up right away and says, "We'll have some ham and eggs." The pig says, "Hold it there, chickadee. That meal requires only partial commitment out of you, yet total commitment out of me." How committed are you to the things that are valuable in your world? Your God, your spouse, your children, your job. Are you sold out for the things that matter most in your life? Are you totally committed? Are you willing to sacrifice and be all in with 100% commitment? The great football coach Vince Lombardi once said, "Most people fail not because of lack of desire, but because of lack of commitment." People have great desire to achieve lofty goals, but are they committed to achieving those goals? Be all in for the things that matter most to you.
Towards the beginning of your comments there, Coach, I love the poker analogy that you brought up from the guest speaker at the chapel. I think many people are living 1 foot in church and 1 foot in the world, right? So they're not all in spiritually. They think that if they're morally better than the other guy, it's good enough to get into heaven, right? I think we see that quite a bit. I mean, I guess from your perspective, why are we not able to make Jesus just a part of our life, right? Why do we have to be all in for Jesus?
Well, if you go to Luke 9:23, Jesus says, "If anyone will come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." He's basically saying, I need all of you. I need you. 100% commitment. And it's denying what is important to us, the ways of the world, the things that we want to do, and totally committing ourselves to him. There's a great book called Not a Fan, and it's written by Kyle Idleman. And it's basically built upon that verse, Luke 9:23, where he really challenges us to go beyond ourselves, not look to ourselves, but look to others and really live our lives for Jesus. And so I really think it comes down to Luke 9:23 and just being totally committed to the Lord.
Thanks again for another great tip, Coach. Looking forward to finishing strong in the next episode.